Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. In this video, I go through all of the latest leaked ENQUIRIES patch notes. As always, huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members, especially my latest patrons who are Richard Hawley, Mr. Craig Meyer, and Frosty V Gaming. Thank you all so much for all of the support. It is all very much appreciated. If you do enjoy my content, be sure to check the links in the description below. Also, if you want to keep up with all of the latest Star Citizen leaks, be sure to follow the link in the description to the Star Citizen Leaks Discord channel. This is where I gather the leaks from. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tick the notification bell here so you know exactly when my videos go live. So, Alpha 3.9N is now with the ENQUIRIES. Now, it was mentioned by CIG that if all goes well with this patch, it will open up to Wave 1. But of course, things can change, as we have all surely seen. But they did say they'll do their best to keep us in the loop. So my fingers are firmly crossed that this build is solid and working for Wave 1. Obviously, if it's got some game-breaking bugs, then it won't release. Now, there are a few known issues which could be one of the reasons why the build isn't getting released. All ships are destroyed when spawned at Area 18. There's a crash occurring when going into the options menu from the hangar or arena commander. Players can get stuck in the loading screen once they leave prisons. Ground vehicles cannot be spawned from ASOP terminals, and any changes to the character model do not persist, amongst other problems as well. Whether any of these are actually what's stopping CIG from releasing it, or more likely something along the lines of 30Ks, desync, crash to desktops, those sort of things, we just don't know right now. Hopefully CIG will keep us up to date, and better yet, let's hope that patch N is a good Wave 1 candidate, and they will resolve these issues. Anyway, let's take a look at what 3.9N has to offer. So testing focus still remains the same, nothing new there. They are still requesting any videos of desync as well, so clearly desync is still a bit of an issue. Now for feature updates and locations, they have increased the brightness of exterior lights around Levski. For gameplay, they have updated the order of the widgets on the player status readout. So this is what tells you your oxygen levels, your hunger levels, thirst levels. This is using the new building blocks tech, so clearly they just quickly iterated on it and brought that out again. They have rebalanced the mining merit rewards for various crystals in prisons. Dying within a short distance of any active law enforcement, so AI, or bounty hunter, be it a player, will now send criminals to prison. Now this is pretty good, some decent logic here, so that if you're a criminal and you accidentally die for whatever reason, then you won't just go and wake up straight in prison, but if you are being pursued by an AI member or an AI law enforcement or a bounty hunter and you die within their vicinity, then you go to prison. So I'm glad that that's in. Players can now exit any bed using the WASD keys, which is great for new players. Obviously, if you're new to the game and you spawn in your bed, it might be a little difficult to realize that it's Y to get you out of bed. Now it's WASD. There's been various audio improvements to FPS hit marker sounds, vehicle sounds, and various FPS audio. This is great because I've noticed the audio has been lacking in 3.8.2, just giving you indications as to what's going on, who's shooting, where you're being shot, that sort of stuff. So I'm glad that that's now fixed. Also, active missions will now fail when the player is sent to prison. For ships rented with REC should now be customizable, which is great news. And finally, there are bug fixes. So there's 21 more bug fixes. I'll only read off a few of them that are sort of non-3.9 specific. They have fixed an issue that could cause the Cyclone to get destroyed if it has cargo and is loaded into another ship while in Quantum. It's quite a complicated one. They've fixed the character model not being posed correctly while seated in the mining turret seat of the Argo Mole. They have fixed an issue on the Carrack that could cause the maneuvering thruster visual effects to remain on when the engines are off. They have fixed an issue that could sometimes cause the add contact text box on the front menu not to be clickable, so this is probably more to do with the new Friends updates. They fixed an issue causing NPCs to get stuck walking indefinitely into walls and railings. They fixed an issue which is causing NPCs to freeze in place for a couple of seconds after exiting a usable animation. I have noticed that and it does annoy me, so I'm glad that that's now fixed. They fixed an issue causing the multi-tool mining laser to not auto turn off after breaking a rock. I haven't come across that one, but it's important that they do that. The floor around Center Mass and Area 18 should now have collision. They've fixed an issue where ship sounds would remain on in an area after the ship has been exploded. They've fixed an issue causing weapons and mining lasers to switch themselves back on after the player stops using them. Repair, refuel, and restock should now be working at Port Tressler, which is great to hear that. Only criminals should be sent to prison. That's quite an important one, so I thought I'd put that in there. And Ruto's hologram should now be operational. They have clearly been spending a lot of time on these missions like Ruto and just making them polished, fixing little irritating bugs that just either stop you from actually taking on the missions or just make it smoother to play. So I'm really happy about that. They have fixed 4 client crashes and 1 server crash. So that is the latest Evo build. It is pretty much anyone's guess whether it'll be Wave 1 tomorrow, today, next day. I really hope that we get it soon, but come to think of it, last we heard, Theatres of War was still on schedule for release in the first half of this year, so technically by the end of June, and we have seen them dropping a lot of Theatres of War content into the latest 3.9 build over the last few months, like its UI, its descriptions, and even music. So I'm really hoping that we'll start to see Theatres of War come as a separate entity, maybe for Evo or just as a Wave 1 or whatever in the upcoming months. Also, recently it looks like there may be 2 game modes to Theatres of War, with recent text going into the 3.9 build. We have EA_Rush and EA_Conquest. EA obviously standing for Electronic Access, of course. Now I would really love to see a Conquest mode. The Rush game mode is what we saw at CitizenCon, where you have attackers and defenders. Conquest is more of this ground warfare mode, battling over 2, 3, 4 points, which once held will tick down the opposition's respawn tickets and so on. Now if this is the case, then I will be very excited, especially if you can imagine a Theatres of War Conquest that goes from ground up to a space station. That would just be epic. I don't mind the Rush mode, and I would play it obviously, but I generally play Conquest game modes over Rush. So yeah, fingers crossed. It also looks like Theatres of War may just be a working title. We'll see if they change that. But finally, it appears that some UI is getting updated for various sections of the cargo and refinery decks. Looks like it's just the cargo decks for now. We have Cargo Center, Galleria, Hangars and Habs, Security Dock, and then Dock A, Dock B, and Dock C. And that is it for the leaks. But with that said, my fingers are still firmly crossed, waiting for 3.9. Anyway, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tick the like button if you appreciate my content, and tick the notification bell just so you get notified when my videos go live. Again, thank you to all of the patrons, channel members, subscribers. A lot of support recently, and I cannot thank you all enough. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.